Alright, hello and welcome to GamerDNA Townhall number 2. We've got a new setup this time, new cameras, different microphones and all sorts of setup. We've got a live stream going at the same time, so thanks everyone who's watching. And this is the same setup as last time. We had a bunch of questions submitted by you guys. We really appreciate that. We took basically every single one of them, and we're going to try to answer them today.
And we're going to rip through them. So, as Sam said specifically, if you guys have any follow-up questions, you can always hit us up on the site. But we have a lot of questions here, and we want to get through them quickly so that we don't drag this thing out. So, if there's any follow-ups, be sure to send them to us, and we can answer them either in the site, through the comments, or on Get Satisfaction, where we consolidate a lot of ideas and conversation as well.
So we're going to do these in chunks, because last time we had a pretty long video. It was 40 minutes. And YouTube doesn't allow 40-minute videos. So we're going to do sort of like 10-minute chunks so they can go up on YouTube. So this first segment is going to be all about sort of our content and comment systems. Actually, a lot of this stuff is new from our sort of revamp that just launched a couple weeks ago. So this first question is from Wild Mammoth, and they asked, are there any plans to make it so members can lock their own posts from receiving comments? We've got comment threads are much more popular. There's much more comments now from the new system, and so they're getting tons and tons of comments. One of them from, I believe it was Wildlander, had like 350 comments in the last week.
Yeah.
So stuff's popular.
Yeah, we're definitely looking at the comment notification system as a whole, because prior to the relaunch of the site, we just weren't getting a lot of conversation in those feeds, and now that's where all of the conversation on the site is happening. So we're having to adjust the interface as we go to support just the increase in volume. There's some other questions in here related to just performance of the member home and all of that. It's all really related to the gamer current, and when you would click an item in the current, it would expand the thread. All of the comments were already rendered behind the scenes, so it would do it instantly, but if we're pulling down all that information, it was really slow. So we did a lot with the currents, and we're going to be continuing to do a lot with the currents. The ability to lock a post from comment, definitely. The ability to do things like email digesting, definitely. So we're definitely looking at all the different types of alerts you get from posting and currents, and figuring out how we can make that easier and better, and easier for you to control, and easier for you as the owner to control what happens in those posts. Yeah, a lot of this stuff that you guys actually submitted today, and just in general over the last few weeks, is a lot of us as GamerDNA staff, and then as the community. We're all learning how this new system works and how we use it, and then we're reacting to that. So, the ability to lock posts and things like that is a great thing that we've learned over the last couple of weeks that you guys want and is definitely needed. Definitely.
So this next one is from Savaboda. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Why is there a swear filter for comments and content that goes into the gamer current and the now page?
So yeah, when we put a swear filter on there, because the stuff that appears in your member homepage or stuff that appears on the now page, you as a user of the site really can't control that. So if you're just passing through and you hit the now page, or you're passing through, you log in for the day and you see your member home, a lot of people are very sensitive to the types of content that appears on their on the pages or publicly throughout the site. So instead of getting too complicated, we just decided to put in a swear filter across the board for those sections. And there's a lot of different ways to sort of look at that, but we're just trying to appeal to the broadest sentiment as possible, and we think of swear filter and sort of solves that issue. It's also a support issue. When people put a lot of swearing in posts, people send support emails about it, and we have to go and investigate the post, and then we have to decide, is it enough swearing, is it too much swearing, what's a bad word, and it creates like a whole host of issues that it was just easier if we just put a filter on, so we did.
Right. Alright, this next one is from Tamara Lane. They asked, could comments and content posts support BB code?
Yeah, so BB code is sort of the general markup language that bulletin board systems use and forums use to mark up the post, so like adding a link. It's different than HTML, and most people who are forum veterans know BB code. We're actually looking at introducing some rich text features to the ability to add posts, so things like adding a link, things like embedding a video, even simple process improvements like if you're going to make a post and you want to put an image in that post, you could upload that image to your images list and then automatically embed that in the post. So we're doing all of that as part of a revamp. So we won't really support BB code, but we will be providing a richer way of sort of marking up this game posts and activities.
Alright, this next question is from Nerd, that's N3RD. They asked, are there any plans to include the forums in the comment/post system, or will it stay like it is now? And what they mean by that is the forums are totally separate from the entire website. So, do we plan to integrate them more into the website?
So in the short term, no. The issue is that our forums are in vBulletin, and the rest of our site is custom code. There was some integration that was written a long time ago, 2 years ago, and we're really trying to look at how we can take advantage of some of the functionality without having to completely tie the sites to something like vBulletin. So I think we really need to focus on how we take all the conversations and put them in the new site. Things like the forums, will always still have their place. But what we're really trying to do is figure out how we keep them disconnected in a smart way, so that we're not so heavily integrated and things aren't so reliant on each other. As far as taking forum posts and putting them into the Gamer Currents, that's an interesting idea. We haven't really looked at that. In the short term, they're probably going to continue to be pretty separate, though.
Alright, so we've got a few more minutes left for this segment, and sorry guys if you hear car horns and sirens and things. Our office is really right on the street, so we apologize.
It's always pretty rowdy outside here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of action in Central Square in Cambridge.
Yeah. This next question, again we got a couple minutes left here. Has there been any thoughts on creating a daily summary or digest email notifications for all your GamerDNA content subscriptions? That means if you subscribe to a comment thread and comments are coming in, you usually get immediate emails. Is there other options?
Yeah, we're going to put in some digesting for sure. So the ability to have a daily summary of all the activity that's happened. So instead of getting an email for every comment, you would get an email saying, hey, today there were 15 comments to this thread. So definitely, we're going to do daily digesting and potentially weekly digesting, because we totally recognize now that the comments volume is so high that we need to offer some other options.
Cool. This next, so that last question was from Debster C. This next question is from Lord Ophidian, or Ophidian, I think.
Ophidian?
Yeah, we'll try. Is there any way to get achievement names to show up in the game activity? Right now it just shows the game that you played and the amount of gamer score attained. So we just did this for the PlayStation 3, actually as of today, but we don't do that with the Xbox 360.
Yep. It all comes down to how we can get the data. So in the case of the PlayStation 3 trophies, that information is available on a publicly accessible profile webpage on Sony's site. So we can just go to the page and look at what trophies you've got and pull them in and display them in your profile. In the case of Xbox, they hide their profile systems behind the Windows Live ID, so you have to log in to Xbox Live or Xbox.com to actually go to someone's page to see what games they've played and then click through to see what achievements they've received. So because it's behind a password protection, the methods you have to use to go after that data, which a lot of sites are doing to some success, but it's very difficult to get that to be consistent and scale. You have to play a lot of tricks to get past the password authentication, like have fake users and such like that. So we really don't have a good way to do it right now. If there's another option, we're always looking at it, and we might go forward with a version that allows us to pull achievements. But right now, we have the Sony trophies, and hopefully we'll get the Xbox achievements as fast as we can with a solution that we think is stable and repeatable.
Alright, so we've got about 30 seconds for this question, and then we got to go.
Okay.
What does voting for a game post activity /image /video do? So you give a vote to a content post or an image or whatever it is. It makes a little nom up in the top right-hand corner. All that is basically a vote for it. You're saying, hey, this is cool, and it helps bubble it up through the community in terms of it'll show up in the spotlight system. In the future, we'll incorporate it into a fame system that we're going to address later on in this video. But right now, it's just a vote.
And it also impacts, if you go to the game page and there's a media in the game page, it'll determine how it appears in that list as well. But we're working on integrating it.
Alright guys, well thanks, and we'll see you for the next segment, which is about profile questions.